Welcome back to Soil Stories, where we don't just grow plants, we grow understanding. If you've ever stood in your garden wondering why your soil feels tired, lifeless, or stubbornly unproductive, today's story might surprise you. The answer isn't always more fertilizer, more digging, or more chemicals. Sometimes it's something as simple and as powerful as sugar. Yes, ordinary sugar. Not as plant food in the traditional sense, but as a spark that wakes up the living world beneath your feet. In this episode of Soil Stories, let's dig into how sugar brings life back to the soil, why it works, and how you can use it wisely to rebuild healthy, productive ground. One of the biggest myths in gardening is that soil is just dirt that holds plants upright. In reality, healthy soil is a living ecosystem, buzzing with bacteria, fungi, protozoa, nematodes and earthworms. These organisms form the soil food web, and their job is to break down organic matter and deliver nutrients to plant roots in forms plants can actually use. When soil loses that life, through over-tilling, chemical overuse, erosion, or years of neglect, it becomes compacted, nutrient-locked, and biologically silent. Plants struggle not because nutrients aren't present, but because there's no workforce left to deliver them. This is where sugar quietly steps in. Now, here's an important shift in thinking. Sugar is not fertilizer. You're not pouring sweetness into the soil to feed plants directly. What sugar really does is feed soil microbes, especially those beneficial bacteria. These microbes, they rely on carbon-rich energy sources to survive and multiply. In nature, plants supply this energy through root exudates, sugars released from their roots. But in damaged or depleted soil, microbial populations are often just too low to respond effectively. Adding a small amount of sugar gives them an instant energy boost, kind of like lighting a fire under a cold engine. Once those microbes wake up, they begin breaking down organic matter, unlocking nutrients, improving soil structure, and forming beneficial relationships with plant roots. The soil starts functioning again, not chemically, but biologically. In natural ecosystems, carbon flows constantly into the soil through leaf litter, root turnover, and decaying plant matter. In gardens and farms, we often interrupt that cycle. We remove crop residues, rely on synthetic fertilizers, and disturb soil structure regularly. Over time, this leads to carbon-poor soil. Without carbon, microbial life declines. Without microbes, nutrients become inaccessible. Sugar, being a readily available carbon source, helps jump-start that missing cycle. It's not a replacement for compost or organic matter, but it's a catalyst that helps the system recover faster. When sugar enters moist soil, bacteria respond almost immediately. Their populations increase rapidly, and as they multiply, they begin consuming nitrogen and other nutrients in the soil. This may sound alarming, but it's actually part of the healing process. As microbes grow and die, nutrients are temporarily tied up in their bodies and later released slowly in plant-available forms. This process improves nutrient efficiency and reduces leaching. Over time, plants receive a steadier, more balanced supply of nutrients rather than sudden spikes and crashes. You may also notice improved soil texture. Microbial activity helps form soil aggregates, which improve aeration, water retention, and root penetration. Soil that was once hard and crusty becomes crumbly and alive. One of sugar's most interesting effects is its relationship with nitrogen. Fast-growing weeds thrive in nitrogen-rich soils. When sugar stimulates microbial growth, those microbes temporarily tie up excess nitrogen as they build their bodies. In practical terms, this can slow down aggressive weeds while allowing slower-growing, well-established plants to hold their ground. This effect is subtle and temporary, but many gardeners notice reduced weed pressure when sugar is used thoughtfully as part of a broader soil health strategy. This isn't weed control in the herbicide sense. It's ecological balance, nudging the soil system toward stability instead of dominance by opportunistic plants. Using sugar in the garden is about restraint and intention. A small amount goes a very long way. Dissolving sugar in water and applying it to soil around plants or over garden beds is the most effective approach. This ensures even distribution and avoids attracting insects to dry sugar on the surface. Sugar works best when combined with organic matter. Compost, mulch, leaf mold, and cover crops provide long-term food for microbes, while sugar provides immediate energy. Think of sugar as the spark and organic matter as the firewood. Timing also matters. Applying sugar during active growing periods when soil moisture and temperatures support microbial life produces the best results. In cold or extremely dry soil, microbes simply can't respond effectively. Like any powerful tool, sugar can be misused. Over-application can cause nutrient imbalances, especially nitrogen deficiency in young plants. Excess sugar may also encourage unwanted microbial blooms that create temporary oxygen shortages in poorly drained soils. Sugar should never replace compost, proper soil management, or plant diversity. It's a supplement, not a solution. If soil is compacted, lifeless, and devoid of organic matter, sugar alone won't fix it, but it can help accelerate recovery when paired with good practices. Gardening is about listening as much as doing. Observe how your soil and plants respond, and adjust accordingly. One of the most fascinating aspects of soil biology is the relationship between roots and microbes. Plants release sugars into the soil intentionally to attract specific organisms. These microbes, in return, bring nutrients to the plant, protect roots from disease, and improve resilience to stress. When we add sugar to the soil, we're essentially supporting this underground conversation. We're reinforcing the natural system rather than overriding it. Over time, healthier microbial communities mean stronger root systems, improved drought tolerance, and better nutrient uptake. This is soil regeneration from the bottom up, guided by biology rather than chemistry. Sugar is not a miracle overnight fix, and that's a good thing. The real benefits show up gradually. You may notice improved plant vigor, deeper green leaves without excessive growth, and better response to compost and mulch. Soil becomes easier to work, holds moisture longer, and smells richer, earthy. alive. For experienced gardeners, sugar can fine-tune an already healthy system. And for beginners, it can help jumpstart tired soil and build confidence by showing visible improvement without complex inputs. At Soil Stories, we believe every garden tells a story beneath the surface. Sugar is just one chapter in a much larger narrative about restoring soil life, respecting natural processes and working with biology instead of against it. Healthy soil doesn't come from products alone. It comes from understanding, patience, and thoughtful intervention. Sugar reminds us that sometimes the smallest inputs can create the biggest shifts when they support living systems. If your soil feels worn out, don't give up on it. Life wants to return. By feeding the microbes that make soil function, you're rebuilding an ecosystem, not just growing plants. Sugar, used wisely, can help bring that life back, quietly, naturally, and effectively. If this story helped you see your soil in a new way, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a fellow gardener who's struggling with tired ground. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Soil Stories for more deep, practical insights into the living world beneath our gardens. Together, let's keep telling better stories, starting from the soil up.